Hi, I'm John Sullivan with 401k Specialist. I'm here in Chicago at a meeting of the Retirement Outcome Leadership Committee at Nuveen, and I'm joined by the one and only George Fraser with Retirement Benefits Group and the 2017 Top Advisor by Participant Outcome winner.
John.
How are you, George? Great to see you, as always, man.
Good to see you too, John.
Fantastic. Now, from a plan design standpoint, you and I were talking earlier, but what are you really seeing that's effective from a plan design standpoint for participants?
Sure. Well, I think it all goes back, John, to the way that we have to encourage people to be in these plans. Mm-hmm. Most people are afraid to be in retirement plans because they've got life to deal with, right? It's not so much about saving for retirement or saving for college. It's about, can I afford a tire if I have a flat? Right. Or how can I have pizza for the family? Or yesterday was Mother's Day. How do I get gifts for Mother's Day, sure. Right? So we really need to come up with a process, and I believe that we have. Shlomo Benartzi and Richard Thaler, Nobel laureate last year, conceived of the auto processes that we have today right. in plans. Yep. So to automatically put people in plans with an option to opt out, to automatically escalate the amount they're deferring, and automatically re-enroll them in professionally managed accounts. We have to make it easy. So one of the ways that we are doing that today, because of this fearfulness that they have, is we want to create hope. Mm-hmm. And we do that by telling them, what do they already have? Well, today, everybody has Social Security sure. if they've paid into the system, right? And so imagine us walking into a room where we have employees who are fearful for being there because they don't think they can participate. They don't have enough. Right. And immediately we tell them, I don't care if you're 20 or 60 and you've never saved anything for retirement, every single person here is going to probably have close to $1,000 a month. And by the way, that's like having $250,000 in retirement plan paying 5% a year.
Yep. Annuity for $250,000, huh?
It's a game changer.
Immediately, we'll loosen them up a little bit. Huh?
It's a game changer. Not only that, that's really a fixed account.
Yep.
It allows us to talk to them about why it's important to be involved in equities in their retirement plan. So our next step is then to break it down, to encourage them to participate at what they would consider to be nothing. Right. So we're going to take just 1 penny out of every dollar this year. That's it. Yep. Everybody can afford a penny, right? Next year it's going to be 2 pennies, the year after that 3 until they say stop. Sure. And the beauty of that is that we're going to put them in a professionally managed account. Typically it's the lowest cost option in the plan. Right. And they're away to the races. Yeah. It's awesome, and they love it. And it gets us to a place where they're now active participants and allows us to have personal interactions with them.
Fantastic, wonderful. Now you and I were talking a little bit, and I showed you some questions here, and you said, you know what, none of these really work. What should we be asking? What should we be talking about?
Well, it's I think when you take a look at the real universe of employees out there, mm-hmm. most people in this country make under $40,000 a year in household family income, and many make a lot more. So we have to have empathy for that group. I'm a believer that our industry probably spends a lot of time talking about that top 10% of folks who have all the dough.
Right. Those underserved markets, boy, they're the ones that really need it.
Well, they do need our help. And quite frankly, as a now 57-year-old fella, it's kind of, very youthful looking, of course, right. But 57-year-old fella, it gives you great satisfaction to be able to help those people. I can imagine. So one of the ways, and maybe I can give you an example of how that's worked. Yep. We have a company that we've had, it's now going into our 5th year with them. We took them over, and they had never seen better than 40% participation in their plan. Okay. Had a plan since 1979, no company match, by the way. Okay. The average pay there is probably $25,000 a year.
How many employees are we talking about?
800.
800, okay.
Yep. In California and in Arkansas, this company has never passed their discrimination test. And 40% participation, we went in and in 30 days, we took them to 90% participation. This without a company match. Right. We got them auto-enrolled at 1 penny out of every dollar after doing our Social Security story, and then auto-escalate. Today, 5 years later, They're now at, going into their 5th year, they're going to be at 5% for non-highly compensated employees, at 90% participation.
This is why we talked to George, because he's got these great stories that are so inspiring. So that's exactly what we needed.
Thanks.
Fantastic, George. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, as always.
John, thanks for having me.
Once again, I'm John Sullivan with 401k Specialist.